Today on Ham Radio Q&A, we're going to be talking about multimeters, how they work, and how to use them. So please stay tuned for more. Hi, I'm Joe, K9CJX for Ham Radio Q&A, and today's video is going to be a follow-up on one we did last month about multimeters. Last month we talked about multimeters and what you should be looking for in one for amateur radio use, and today we're going to be talking about how they work and how to actually use them. First things first, we need to talk a little bit about safety. Even at a 12 volts or maybe 5 volts, a short circuit can cause significant damage. It can cause a great inrush of current that can damage the device under test, can actually cause fires. Be very, very careful with that. With line voltages of 120 volts, that is multiplied by exponential factor. Not only do we run the risk of fire and damage to the device, we can also injure or even electrocute ourselves. So please, 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 if you don't know what you're doing, get some help. And just be very, very careful. Believe it or not, even though this is amateur radio, I am a trained professional. So I'll be doing some things here. There'll be some safety off screen that you don't see. So don't go hitting the comments saying, oh my gosh, he's being reckless. I'm being very, very careful. And everything is set up in a very controlled environment so we can do these readings safely. So now to get an idea of how multimeters work, we have to go back to our basic information, or Ohm's law. We studied Ohm's law both for the technician and the general exams, and we know that E, which is voltage, equals I times R. I is current, R is resistance. And that's actually a lie. It's E equals I times Z, but we're not really going to get into that whole Z thing today. We're going to keep things very simple. But we also need to know Kirchhoff's law for parallel circuits. And that is the resistance, the total resistance of a circuit is going to be the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocals of each individual resistance or each individual load. That is a mouthful to say. But basically what we need to know is that in a series circuit, our current is always the same no matter where you're at in the circuit. And in a parallel circuit, our voltage is always the same regardless of where you're at in the circuit, or at least which path you're taking down. So let's take a look at a few schematics. We'll get an idea of how this actually works, and then we'll go to the bench and I'll do a few demonstrations.
In this schematic here, we do have a simple DC circuit with one resistor or one load here. And in parallel with this load, we have our voltmeter. The standard digital multimeter, voltmeter, usually has an input impedance of over 10 megohms, so it's a very high impedance. Because it's a very high impedance compared to this resistor, it basically does not appear, or the circuit does not really see the high load here. So that allows us to get an accurate voltage reading over this particular load. We're measuring the voltage drop between or over this load is what we're actually doing. So when we do a voltage test or a voltage reading with a digital multimeter, we're always going to be in parallel with the circuit. And the reason we do that is because of Kirchhoff's law and Ohm's law. Kirchhoff's law over here is that the total resistance of a circuit is going to be the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocals. So what that basically means, if we have three separate resistors here, and we know that R3 is going to be our voltmeter at 10 megohms, and R1 and R2 are reasonably smaller, 50 and 75 ohms respectively, we know that the voltage across all three will be the same. But we know that the current down these two will be far greater than the one coming down R3. So that allows us to take an accurate voltage reading without without causing any burden on the circuit itself. Now, for a current reading, we actually do the opposite. The ammeter has to be in series with our circuit. So in this particular situation, you could put the ammeter here, or anywhere else within the circuit. But because of Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's law, we know that the current at this position will be the same at this position or anywhere else throughout the whole entire circuit. The voltage will drop over the resistors accordingly. So we have to break the circuit and insert our amp meter in here or anywhere else, but we cannot read it in parallel. If you were to take a voltage reading in series or a current reading in parallel, it could have dire consequences on the voltmeter. Most current multimeters now have protection, such as fuses or other fail-safes that will stop you from doing that, but even still, you have to be careful. It's a good way to smoke a fairly expensive piece of test equipment.
Okay, so for our first measurement, we'll be testing the resistance of this light bulb in ohms. To begin, I have my multimeter on. It's set in the ohms position. The black probe is in the common port, and our red one is in our volts and ohm port jack right there. So, with our probes, I'll put one to the side of the light bulb, and the other one over here. And we can see that the total resistance of the light bulb is about 44 ohms. 40 ohms, it's going to change a little bit depending on our connection here, but 44 ohms is right about what we are anticipating. Okay, in our second video, I've gone ahead and put our light bulb into the socket. For voltage and current, we will test it in circuit. For resistance, we generally retest a device out of circuit. I've set up our meter again with the red probe in the volts and ohm position and the black on the common, and I moved this over to the voltage position here. This is an auto ranging, so we don't need to select the particular range. Additionally, what I have done here is I have two leads coming off the terminals inside the base. These are off the hot and the neutral, and I have these gator clips here. So the meter is now in parallel with the light bulb, and we will get a voltage reading here shortly. And as I turn the light on, it is on, and we're reading 120 volts. And just a reminder, safety's sake, over here these probes are hot, so you don't want to touch those, at least the exposed metal parts, without some sort of protection. Okay, and for our third and final demonstration, we'll be checking current or amperage. The first thing we're going to notice here is that I still have it set up for voltage, but I'm just going to go ahead and switch this over to current. And then I'll go ahead and put this over on our amp jack. So now we are set up to read current. I have reconfigured this light base. I have the hot lead from the cord coming in here. And I have the negative lead or the common lead from the meter. That'll be going back to the bulb. So now that this is going to be in series, the meter is actually in line or in series now with this circuit. I'll go ahead and put our light bulb back in. And we'll power it up. And as you can see, we're pulling about 200 milliamps, 210 milliamps. The light is on and we are in series. And to show that I'm in series, just be very careful when you do this, I will take this lead here, and when I break the connection, the light goes off. And when I remake the connection, the light goes back on. So there we go, about 200 milliamps. So taking a look at the readings that we had here on our meter, we saw that we had 120 volts and we had a current of about 0.2 amps. We can apply Ohm's law, and that we know that power equals voltage times current. So 120 times 0.2, we get 24 watts. And actually, I found the package. I was wrong initially. This is a 25 watt light bulb. So we are really, really close with that. Probably a little bit of loss there, the 1 watt due to resistance of the wire. Also a little bit of an issue. We could have had some reactance, which we didn't really talk about. I know we were talking about resistance. We didn't actually talk about impedance in a AC circuits, so that maybe will be in a future video. Now, we only went over current, voltage, and resistance. Multimeters have a slew of different functions: continuity, diodes, capacitance. This one will do milliamps, microamps, millivolts. They'll do just about anything nowadays, and some of these are very, very useful features to have, especially when trying to diagnose a problem with a device in your shack. So hopefully another video here will go into some of that a little bit more in depth. If you do have any questions, though, leave them in the comments below. We always like to get some feedback from our listeners. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That way you're notified when new videos come out. And also visit our Patreon page. We do have exclusive content on the Patreon page, and your support helps keep this channel going. For Ham Radio Q&A, I'm Joe, KD9CJX73, and thanks for listening.